Hey guys, something else that's come out of the previous championships or the National Touch League, NTL, however you want to say it. You may have noticed when watching Men's Open, just Men's Open games on the live stream, or if you were at the venue, you might have seen that all Men's Open games had 4 referees officiating on that game. And a lot of you might be like, well, why is there 4 referees and why is it only on the Men's Open? But let's talk about it. So obviously in the history of touch football, it's been officiated. Well, back in the day, you might not have known this, but there was touch judges. There was people running the flag, and then having one referee stay in the center the whole time, that was too taxing on them. As you can understand, the game gets faster. They introduced the 3 referee system, and they would seamlessly transition on and off to the sideline, with this, obviously the sideline referee still having a big part in the game. And that has been the norm since as long as I can remember, so over 20 years. If you know when actually that changed from touch judges to 3-way referees, let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear. So yeah, that's been the norm up until this NTL. Now, I got wind of this this trial of 4 referees a little bit earlier because I coached a team in a sort of a regional district competition where elite referees had a training program the night before, and then a few of them stayed around to trial this format on one of our under-18s games. And from a coach's perspective, it didn't make any difference to us. It just felt like the game was officiated just normally, and I spoke to the players, they didn't even notice. So as far as coaching, as far as playing goes, there's nothing to worry about with the 4 referees. If anything, they're going to pick up on things from behind that obviously the sideline and the front ref wouldn't be able to see. So it's probably got a benefit there. And the reason, and I spoke to the referees at length after the game, and I asked about the reason for doing this, and it's actually quite a simple reason. Because the game of touch has got so fast, one of the things that we want to have as coaches and players speed on is our transitions. So if one team loses the ball, we want to get on the ball and start our rucking pattern as soon as we can. Otherwise, the defense will be ready and set for their structural press, or however that is. They shoot at us. So we want to get the drop on that before they're ready. So we're getting to the 7, we're playing the ball, and we are going. And the way the rules are, the way the referees are told to officiate is allow that to happen. If they can get to the mark, then we go. So that means if they dive at the line at us and we make the touch for 6, we're within our rights to just grab the footy and run to the 7. We're going. The referee is actually behind us in the in goal, officiating on that grounding. They then have to get from the in goal all the way to 14 metres out. They've got to go past the 7, and then they've got to get another 7 metres to hold the defensive line in place. They've got to run probably a total of 16, 17 metres, while we have to run 7. Then they've got to, obviously, if they're behind play on the first one, they've got to make up ground for the next touch, which we're already going quite fast at because the first touch is normally pretty direct and fast. So that transition, especially in elite games, was very difficult for the referees. And it's no bag on the referees or anything. Anyone could try that. Just go from in the in goal, 14 out, by the time someone else can run 7 metres and play the ball. It's too much to ask for the referees. Now, they had probably 2 options to come out of this. Okay, one option, we can say, you're not allowed to play the ball until we're ready. That's one option. That's going to upset a lot of people because all of a sudden now the flow of rucking is going to be impacted because defensive shooting is going to be set. Everyone in the defensive line is going to be ready for their shooting, and the game would it would frustrate the coaches, frustrate the players. The game would slow down, so the spectacle of the game would be really impacted. The other option is we add another referee, and the referee at the back of the play, so behind the ball, coming into that last play, would just be ready on the 14. Ready for that transition. So when there is the transition, okay, they straight away start talking to the defense. You've got to come back to me. And by the time you're playing the ball, or by the time you even think about running to the 7 to play the ball, the referee's already out on the 14, adjudicating on the 7 meter onside. So all of a sudden, that little sprint, that expectation of an unrealistic time frame to get from A to B, we've gotten rid of that for the referees. The hardest part of the game physically for them, we've fixed with just adding an extra ref. And I noticed that that referee in the middle stayed. They didn't change on the run as much. The back ref in the in goal, after awarding 6 touch, he would then go to the side, and the sideline ref would come to the back. And that's another really good thing that the referees have done, because a lot of times when they changed, it's actually seamless and it's done very well by the referees. But if they weren't wired up to each other, a lot of times that's where a count might be mistaken. If one's going off and they might say 3 coming, and then the ref coming on, all they hear is 3, then they go 4 is the next touch. So especially now that the boxes are so loud, the referees, when they're changing, they've got to talk to each other over the top of 10 people in the sub box also yelling at the team. So by that referee staying in the middle of the field and the changes actually happening behind play, we'll probably, I'm trying to hold in a sneeze. We'll probably see a lot less count errors, which in my opinion, that is the only thing that frustrates me as the coach. I'll take forward pass disagreements, any rule I will absorb, no problem. But if you mess up the count, I'm there like, "Ugh." So if we can fix that, me personally, that would make me very happy. But yeah, so that's the 4-way. If anyone knows any other reasons or any other movements that's changed with the 4-way referees, let me know in the comments. Obviously, this is only going off what I've seen and one conversation with a couple of referees at a district competition. Let's talk about the downside to this now. Numbers. At the moment, the only reason I think that they did it on the men's open games was due to the amount of referees available, the amount of referees that can handle a men's open game that's available, because men's open is extremely, like, you look at games or sports to umpire or to referee, I think touch football is one of the hardest. And then you have men's open because you're running so fast, you're talking so much, and then there's so many decisions that you have to make. Compare it to rugby league. The decision making is probably the same, but rugby league, you're not running constantly as fast. You're not under as much physical fatigue as you are in touch football. And then you look at other sports, basketball, the umpires or the refs barely run at all. Then you got like baseball, they don't even move. Like all these major sports, gridiron, they don't move very much. Touch football, you are flat stick the whole game as a referee. And then you talk about men's open on that, it's just an elite level on top. So obviously we prioritize that on the men's open. And then as far as introducing it to a second division, I think as far as speed of the game goes, mixed open would be the next fastest, or men's 20s. I think that they will do it for women's open next, and look, I'm totally fine with that. I believe that the women's open should be treated just as well as the men's open, as an equal premier division. But yeah, as far as speed goes, I think that as far as speed of the game, I think men's 20s or mixed open would be the next level to require that. Let us know what you think in the comments, but overall, in my opinion, I thought it was really good. Obviously, it's going to take some time for the referees to adjust, because a lot of times we saw a referee would rule 6 touch and then start their run to the 14, get halfway there and realize there's already a ref there waiting for them. And then they would be like, oh, that's right. And then try to go back and they're just in the way a little bit. But look, that's just their own little transition period. Doing one thing for so long and then asking for a massive change like that is going to take some getting used to. But I'm sure everyone can be like down with that. Yeah, let us know what your thoughts were of the 4 referee system. Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? Did you think there was sort of good and bad? Let us know why. And yeah, that's all I've got to talk about it at this point in time. We will see you on another video. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.